They're creepy and they're spooky, they really kinda loopy, they really kinda scare me. They're spooky, the Addams Family. They're creepy and they're spooky, the Wednesday character tier list. Pugsley Addams. He ranked in A tier in Season 1, but by Season 2 he's at the bottom of C tier. In Season 1, his part was more limited and it was played more authentically by the actor when he was younger. But just like with Eugene, he is hurt by the 3 years that it took them to finally make Season 2. His sudden aging and height increase from Season 1 to Season 2 is jolting and disquieting, and the comedic/stupid role he is trying to portray in Season 2 is just over the top, and his comedic timing is off. Grandmama Hester, a respectable character played by a good actress, but she simply did not live up to the hype. Bottom of B tier. Rowan, just above Grandmama Hester in B tier. He played his part well as the outcast, among outcasts as he called himself. He has a good power in telekinesis. His ranking is hurt somewhat by his rather short appearance in the show, being killed off pretty quickly. At the bottom of A tier, we have Professor Orloff, played by legendary actor Christopher Lloyd, and the whole Futurama head in a jar thing sort of making an appearance in Wednesday. That was simply great to see. The characters played excellently, and Christopher Lloyd, he's just a delight to see on the screen. It's as if he was born to play a head in a jar. He looked like Everybody Loved Raymond dad, who is a legendary figure and actor himself. The only thing preventing him from S tier is that it's hard to hear what he's saying sometimes due to the liquid in the jar. But that's more of the fault of whoever designed the jar. So whoever came up with that aspect of the jar design, you're an idiot, and you kept this otherwise great character from being in S tier. Gomez Addams, classic Addams Family character. However, he only manages to rank towards the top of C tier. He was decently well played by established actor Louis Guzman. His acting definitely leaves much to be desired. His excessive kissing and affection towards Morticia is handled rather clumsily, up to the point that one of my mates actually averted his eyes from the screen when they were involved in those activities at one point. He's also pretty obese and a pretty far cry from the other more true-to-character portrayals of Gomez Addams in the past. Ajax, just above the bottom of A tier. He plays the so-called stoner type pretty well, and he has a certain charisma, and though there is some room for improvement in his technical acting abilities, his charisma and his heart elevates his status. He also has a powerful ability in turning people to stone. Hey, that's one way to build a statue. Dr. Fairburn, played by one of the forgotten Mission Impossible girls, Thandie Newton. You know, the Tom Cruise love interest from one of the Mission Impossible movies that then never gets mentioned or appears again in any of the subsequent movies. She ranks just above Pugsley in the bottom of C tier. She plays the chief psychiatrist at Willow Hill Psychiatric Hospital, and she's the lead individual caring for Tyler. Her role is performed reasonably well, but she's just sort of bland and forgettable. Hey, maybe that's why Tom Cruise didn't bring her back. Okay, now let me give you a little sneak peek into S tier. At the bottom of S tier, we have Lurch. This classic Addams Family character is the perfect example of less is more. He's someone you like to see on the screen even if he isn't overtly doing too much during that screen time. His lumbering walk, his grunts, he just dominates the screen effortlessly every time he's on it. Mayor Walker. This is a well-played character. He's an excellent representation of a politician. He has a certain charisma to him, and he has a great voice for giving speeches, and he drives the story well with his role in the cover-up. He gets a solid spot in the middle of A tier. Agnes ranks toward the middle of B tier. She's got some great powers, and she has a real mischievous way about her. Her prank tying up Enid and whoever that other guy was, that prank was the stuff of legends. She's a lot like all of you watching this video, a big fan and borderline stalker of Wednesday. This girl's awesome, and she looks just like Wednesday, except she's got red hair instead of black. The biggest mistake of the series, Tyler Galpin. The actor who plays the guy is just plain horrible. Nothing he says sounds believable, and his facial expressions are incredibly inauthentic. You can always tell he's acting, and just like on my RuneScape account, he's a real black mark to the show. Even with the hide thing, he turns into this fake, googly-eyed CGI mess. I wouldn't be surprised if the actor that plays Tyler helped come up with this stupid design. He's an idiot. He's at the very bottom of the tier list, F tier. He's the one major blemish on this show. The show could have reached even greater heights, won more awards, been more critically acclaimed, if it wasn't for this incredibly terrible actor. Marilyn Thornhill, otherwise known as Laurel Gates, the Hide's master, also the one who resurrected Joseph Crackstone. Wow, that's quite the resume. She was A tier in season 1, but she goes down to B tier in season 2. She just doesn't look right with the short haircut and without her glasses. The actress plays the role well, and her turn from pretending to be good to her villain reveal was very well executed. They picked a great actress to carry this important and vital role in the show, but she did do better in the first season when she was pretending and hiding her identity. Eugene. Now, this is a curious case. If we were going by only season 1, he would undoubtedly be S tier. In season 1, the actor that played him did a great job. He was a unique character with his connection to bees, the way he looked with the curly hair, the glasses, the braces, being slightly chubby, his dynamic with Wednesday, and his unexpectedly large and pivotal role in the story. It all coalesced to make just an enthralling and impactful character. However, in season 2, just as was the case with Pugsley, he's hurt by the 3-year gap from season 1 to season 2. What was once a great character design that fit the actor perfectly, suddenly, 3 years later, not so much. He just doesn't look right, being so much taller and skinnier while keeping the same curly hair, glasses, and braces look. It's just off-putting to try to keep him looking the exact same. They should have updated his look in some way that played better with his aging and height/weight change. His personality also seems to have changed for the worse, with him being more whiny and more negative. It's almost like they tried to turn him into Dimitri from Cobra Kai. So Eugene, who once would have easily placed into S tier, is now near the middle of B tier. How unfortunate. Bianca Barclay, probably the worst actor in the show besides Tyler. She's not as bad as Tyler, but she's still played by an actor that overacts and has an over-the-top presentation with an inauthentic voice and inauthentic facial expressions that take you out of the show. Her weird, fake smile pairs badly with her eyes. Her arrogance and the way she presents herself seems fake beyond whatever may have been intended by the writers, and she's just obnoxious in a bad way. Also, her siren power is pretty cheap and would basically break the show if it was actually used to any degree approaching its full potential. She ranks at the middle of C tier. Second, from the very top of A tier, we have Joseph Crackstone. His backstory was great and compelling. He did his job as the ultimate villain very well early on in the season finale, and he was a very menacing and dominating character. And he would be S tier if it wasn't for the fact that he was killed off so quickly. He shows great power with his magical scepter or staff or whatever you want to call it. That staff just looks fantastic with its bluish glow. His pilgrim or Puritan style really looks great on the character. If he would have just lasted through 2 episodes rather than being killed off by Wednesday so quickly, practically right after he was resurrected, he would be S tier. He should have protected his only weak spot, his black heart, a lot better. Also, it was a missed opportunity to not have him interact with Tyler. If he would have killed off that freak, I might have put him at the very top of this list. Richie Santiago. Does anybody even know who this person is? A very forgettable character played by a horrible actor. This character did not deserve to be in both seasons, did not deserve to be the sheriff. She really sullies the legacy of the previous sheriff, who was played masterfully. Nobody even remembers her name. I had to do a lot of research just to find out who she was on the internet. This girl is bad. Steer clear of all of her future projects. D tier. This brings us to Sheriff Galpin. In stark contrast to the bumbling buffoon that serves as his replacement, Sheriff Galpin plays his role incredibly well and adds a great dynamic to the show. His role as a sort of anti-hero figure and semi-foil to Wednesday is a large part of what gave Season 1 of Wednesday substance. What they did to him in Season 2 with the loss of his job and his early and unceremonious death was unfortunate, but perhaps it was necessary to advance the plot. But this is just a fantastic character, and he ranks number 3 in the S tier as the third best character in the show. Xavier Thorpe. He ranks toward the middle of B tier. His technical acting skills were somewhat lacking, but not too bad, and I can see this young man having a bright future in Hollywood if he plays his cards right. Xavier is an interesting character with his powers, his visions, his dreams, his art, his family history. He's just a very rich and tortured type of character, and his relationship to Wednesday, Tyler, and Bianca really adds to the show. Principal Weems. She ranks near the top of B tier. She did a great job as the principal in Season 1, and she threaded the needle well of dealing with Wednesday as well as her mom, considering their complicated history. Perhaps her ranking is propelled somewhat by my fondness for her role in Game of Thrones, where she played a big huge freak. Dr. Valerie Kinbot. She does pretty well in her role as a psychiatrist, and there's a certain charm to her performance. Her soft adversarial relationship with Wednesday, as well as her complex relationship with Principal Weems and Tyler, made for great TV. She would be B tier if it wasn't for the fact that her technical acting ability is just a little bit lacking. She earns her spot at the top of C tier. Morticia Addams. Now this is a big one of the iconic Addams Family characters played by veteran actress Catherine Zeta-Jones. She portrays Morticia Addams well. The tense mother-daughter relationship between her and Wednesday is well acted on both sides. She has a great sense of style with great wardrobe choices, and in Season 1, she easily would have made A tier. However, in the second season of Wednesday, Morticia Addams doesn't look the same. Catherine Zeta-Jones either got plastic surgery or she was a victim of makeup sabotage. The great and elegant natural look Morticia Addams had in Season 1 is replaced by this very fake and off-putting look where it looks like her hairline is receding and it looks like her entire face has been pulled back in some odd way. This drastic change and downgrade in looks is enough to move her down from what would have been a solid spot in A tier in Season 1 to just the top of B tier by Season 2. The either bad plastic surgery or overuse and terrible application of makeup and overall negative change to her style and look really hurt Morticia Addams in Season 2. Enid Sinclair. She would have been S tier in Season 1, but she moves down to the top of A tier in Season 2. She still plays the character well, but the shorter and different hairstyle with the pink and blue hair dye and the throwing aside of Ajax at the start of Season 2 takes her down a notch. She also had some type of very forced and shoehorned character change with the wolfing out that she talks about early on in the season. That is more just lip service by the show's writers than actual true change being shown or fulfilled. Her relationship with Wednesday from Season 1 and the whole dynamic there was so compelling that it maintains her spot in A tier, but let me say, she really has downgraded in Season 2. Now we get to the S tier, the best of the characters of Wednesday. Only 6 made the cut, and you've seen 2 of them already. Lurch at the bottom, and Sheriff Galpin in third place. Let's take a look at Wednesday's greatest characters and see who ends up being the best character of all. Right above Lurch in S tier, we have Principal Barry Dort, played by legendary actor Steve Buscemi. What can I say about this guy? He just plays the role absolutely perfectly. This was basically the perfect role for Steve Buscemi. He balances being comedic, eccentric, and plotting perfectly. He keeps an item on him that prevents Bianca's siren abilities from affecting him, and he manipulates the manipulator to have Morticia bring her grandma to the school for fundraising. It was some almost Game of Thrones level operating in the Wednesday universe. Barry's ability to roll with the punches when Wednesday tries to sabotage his big event and burn the commemorative painting just further shows he's a cunning and formidable character, flexible enough to adapt and overcome and respond rationally to situations that might evoke a misguided and emotional response from a lesser character. Just a great, great, great character. Next up in S tier, we have Thing, a classic and beloved Addams Family character. Whoever choreographs this hand's movements is doing an excellent job. And if you watch closely enough, you can actually begin to pick up on his language and understand what he's saying through his movements. It's astonishing, and whoever was responsible for creating Thing's system of language must be some type of genius. Until you've dealt with creating a new language, you don't understand how time-consuming, how difficult it is to do. So kudos to those responsible. Now, I know many will say this hand is probably largely CGI generated or otherwise created through some special effects, but I have insider knowledge that seems to indicate that this hand is actually a real human hand from a dead person, much more a practical effect rather than anything CGI. And this would make all the sense in the world relative to the Addams Family and the Wednesday universe. Thing enables and progresses many of the major events of the show, working with Wednesday at pivotal moments to allow her to do things she couldn't otherwise do. He was a major part of what allowed Wednesday to win the Poe Cup. He lit the match that burns down the Joseph Crackstone statue, and so much more. He's the reason Wednesday went to the school dance, for crying out loud, and did her iconic dance that everybody's been doing the last 3 years. He also serves as a device to elevate the other characters because he's so endearing that when the other characters respond to him and play off him, they become more endearing just by association. I love this hand. All that's left now are the top 2 ranked characters. Ranked second in S tier, the second best character in the show. You probably all knew she was coming up. You probably expected her to be near the top. The title character, Wednesday Addams. Without Wednesday, you don't have a show. The character design, the brooding lack of emotion. Jenna Ortega was born to play this character. The black outfit, the black pigtails, wow! But it's not only the brooding lack of emotion that she executes so well. To just play a character completely devoid of emotion wouldn't be too hard of a feat for most actors. It's the way she does it with such authenticity. She's able to convey something deeper. In her friendship with Enid, in her taking up for her brother with the piranhas, in her attachment to Thing. Although she is this brooding and pragmatic character that shows little emotion, you get the sense that there is a sort of rich morality and genuineness bubbling beneath the surface. It's not so much the lack of emotion is a veneer as it is that the lack of emotion and pragmatism informs and enhances that which bubbles beneath the surface, and vice versa, allowing Wednesday to be a charming character we all root for, rather than some amoral figure we wouldn't necessarily be so attached to. Now we've arrived at the top of S tier. I'll give you a moment to guess who it might be.
A creepy and the spooky.
The absolute best character of the Wednesday series, Uncle Fester, played by Fred Armisen. Fred Armisen always does a fantastic job in any role he plays. Ever since his days on Saturday Night Live, he's had a unique comedic presence that he's stayed authentic to. He fits the part of the odd Uncle Fester perfectly. He has a great laugh as Uncle Fester. The makeup is excellent. His overall appearance is just great. His abilities and his apparent high IQ are extraordinary. His eccentricities are just incredibly endearing. He was able to sense Agnes was there when she was invisible. He ate a cactus like it was candy. His ability to shoot electricity from his fingers is just incredibly powerful and useful. Hey, I for one would like to see him take on Emperor Palpatine. He just takes over the screen whenever he's on it. His relationship with Wednesday and their on-screen performance together makes for fantastic television. It's almost like he's a character so cunning and so powerful that he's able to operate outside of the parameters of the Wednesday universe. He's able to do as he pleases. He even gets caught and put in a mental institute on purpose, enjoys the electroshock treatment, and he positions himself to be able to release the inmates and escape from the institute himself, and he does it all with ease. I think that Morticia's quote about him, "You know he only gets caught when he wants to," really sums him up best. Just a unique and fantastic character, played expertly by an excellent actor. The greatest character on Wednesday.